first thought is like, oh, I wonder how they made that. Like, I wonder how they, is this CG or do they have a prop guy like make it look like that?
And the nerd brain takes over for the lizard brain.
And right, so like, as a result, I'm not usually as squeamish as I have been in the past over stuff like that. So I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. Big adult alien man is CG, obviously. So like, he's not real. He can't hurt me. All right. Oh, didn't I discover it was easier to do it this way? Yes.
Shared in the places.
Yes. No. Yes. Yes. Put it in all the gaming streaming things that I'm in.
Just to make people wonder, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
what game are they
What
playing?
are these two idiots saying?
Yeah. That's how you get clicks. You just do something inexplicable.
Like this.
Yeah.
Like start a show.
Oh!
Welcome back to Jedi Enclave. I'm Daniel.
I'm Chris.
And we're here, a brand new podcasting schedule.
By which he means like we got home from a movie like 15 minutes ago
well,
and said, hey, let's talk about it.
Well, also we're going to be doing on Saturdays from now on until I presume Lucasfilm decides to drop another show on Wednesdays.
Who knows?
Because if they do another show on Wednesdays, Saturday will be too late for us to talk about it, so we'll have to figure something out.
Yeah.
I imagine that Skeleton Crew is probably on a Wednesday.
Hopefully they do Tuesday.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Alexa, when does Star Wars Skeleton Crew come out?
From MovieWeb.com. Star Wars Skeleton Crew debuts on Disney Plus on December 3rd, 2024.
Oh, that's the day before my birthday. Alexa, what day is December 3rd on?
December 3rd, 2024 is on a Tuesday.
Oh,
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Also, that is quite possibly the worst way to get answers on your podcast.
Yeah.
Like, I can
Everyone's
imagine
watching.
someone
like,
at home has their speakers going, and their
They're
sheet
Alexa,
who must not be
yeah.
named. It just perks up. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
let me look that
Hello.
up for you.
She was already listening. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll switch to Tuesdays at some point.
Wednesday?
Or Wednesday. Yeah. So what was I saying? Anyway, welcome to the show. So this is the Jedi Enclave presents Now This is Podcasting podcast. I'm Daniel. This is Chris. And
Today,
we are on
there's a little bit of Star Wars news.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, so like D23 happened, so
Yeah.
there's like shit there. But you and I just like, I don't know, 5 seconds ago, just got back home from seeing Alien Romulus. We're going to talk about that, which I thought was a pretty neat movie. And then while you're here, if you could check us out on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch, and Discord, that would be great. And I've got my cup of coffee here because, as everyone well knows, I'm a 75-year-old man who always takes a nap at around 3:30, 4 o'clock. And that's when the movie was wrapping up.
Yep.
And so I got home and I was like, I might go to bed instead of doing this. So anyway, welcome. This, in fact, this might not be an hour long.
You didn't mention Connor.
Oh yeah, it's because we don't cross post on his page anymore.
Okay.
I gotta thank him.
Okay.
Let me cross post on your page. There was some drama. It's not Connor's fault. But there was we got flagged for like hate speech or something, and it affected his channel too.
Ooh.
And so they're like, it's a whole, and I'm not even sure he's allowed to cross post until like October or something.
Geez.
You should check out his shit. This is the Star Wars Hub and Star Wars Red House. And then I think we're doing Battlefront tonight. And then next week, wow, the schedule's all messed up because now we do our podcast on Saturdays.
Yeah.
My summer, Sunday, tomorrow, we're doing another episode of Gungans and Dragons, which is our weekly tabletop RPG, space themed, not Star Wars themed. And I think we've officially finally made it out of character creation. So we've just started our first adventure, and one of us is not me, is already addicted to a drug that makes you look younger than you are.
Okay.
Sean's the person addicted to it. And then one of us, I won't name names, Monty, has like every kind of space venereal disease there is.
Don't be a fool. Wrap your tool.
Yeah, which he did not. So you should come check that out. That'll be 7 o'clock Central. And then Battlefront throughout the week. And, also, speaking of Battlefront, tangentially, it's, what's the date today? The 17th?
Yes.
Which means that Star Wars Outlaws comes out in like a couple of weeks.
Oh, shit.
And I will be streaming the fuck out of that game when it comes out. So, and I'll be playing it early, actually, so I don't have to wait until the 30th. I think it's like the 27th. So, yeah, come check that out. It'll be fun. So, D23.
Yes. Disney's big. Look at us.
Yes.
We've got all this shit coming out in like 3 years.
I have 3 categories. One of them we're not going to talk about very much at all. One of them we're going to talk about a little bit, and one of them we're going to talk about.
Okay.
So, the thing
lay it on me.
The thing we're not going to talk too much about are all the non-Star Wars, non-MCU things.
They're making Frozen 3. Who
Yes.
would have thought?
I'm going to read you a list of titles, and I want you to tell me what they all have in common.
Okay.
Moana 2, live-action Snow White, live-action Lilo and Stitch, Incredibles 3, Toy Story 5, Frozen 3, Zootopia 2, Avatar 3, Freaky Friday 2 for some reason.
They're all sequels.
They're all sequels based on IPs we've all seen before, and I'm so tired of this bullshit in Hollywood that I could literally scream. Also, that light just went off.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll look at it later. But it's completely predictable because it's something that you'd expect a conservative media company like Disney to do.
Yeah. Also, Mufasa. Mufasa, the origin story, had an update. It's funny because when we went to go see Alien Romulus, we saw the trailer.
There was a trailer for it.
And I think it's really funny that they market this as a live action Lion King thing when
It's completely CG.
It's all animated.
There's nothing live action about it.
None of it's surprising.
It looks so weird. This is also such an incredibly minor detail, but it bothers me anyway. The word Mufasa means father, which means that these lions had a kid and immediately named him father.
That is kind of weird. Yeah. What's weird to me is that I guess Scar is
I guess that's not actually his name assigned.
Well, Taka is right, but you would expect that Scar was the one they found out in the middle of nowhere and was the orphan, but it turns out Mufasa is.
Okay.
So, big plot twist there. Yeah. I'm not going to go see it in theaters. I'll watch it when it's.
I don't think I'm going to see it at all.
So I won't spend money on it. I can tell you that. I'll wait until it's on streaming, and then I'll find it somewhere else. So anyway, I don't think I've seen Moana, the first.
I have not.
Maybe I have. I don't know. So the only one on this list that I'm like, is Toy Story 5, which is hilarious because there have been 5 of them. Mm-hmm. But
I think I've only seen the first.
Okay. There's something weird. Let me tell you why they're about to make the 5th one. It's because none of these movies have missed. It's weird. It's so fucking bizarre. Okay. It's like when you look at Tom Cruise's face and you're like, how have you not aged 60 years like everyone else has? Mm-hmm. It's like that weird, they've mastered some kind of weird thing that only the people working on Toy Story know how to do. Sure. Every one of those movies is good, except for Lightyear, which isn't a movie. So Lightyear is the movie that Andy watched that got him interested in Buzz Lightyear to ask for the toy for Christmas or whatever. So that's not even a part of the Toy Story movies. Yeah. You'll cry at the end of every single fucking one of these movies. It's insane how good they all are. So I'll see that one. I'm
kind of interested in Incredibles.
Really? Oh yeah, I guess Incredibles 2 is pretty good though too, right?
Yeah. So I think there's some potential there.
You know what I really like about Incredibles?
What's that?
The music.
Yeah.
They've got those screaming trumpet big band thing, and Avatar 3, Fire and Ash.
Okay. I don't know that it was necessary to make Avatar 2, but
you know who I'm getting real tired of?
Who's that?
James Cameron. I'm really tired of him. So let me say this. I saw Avatar 2, The Way of Water. Water and beaches or whatever.
Yeah.
Was it an amazing movie? No.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it was a little boring because it's like 4 hours long or something. It is, however, the most visually stunning movie I've ever seen in my life. There are effects in that movie, visual effects, that are decades ahead of what everyone else is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like most of the water in the movie about water is CG, and you can't tell. It is insane to me how good it was. Other than that, so we talked about how I have a nap time right around the same time.
You just conked out halfway through.
Through almost the entire second act, I was just like sleeping, and then like my partner got like, no, she's like, wake up! We paid $4 for this movie. Wake the fuck up!
Something's happening.
So yeah, they're doing another Freaky Friday too, and the only reason I would ever be excited about it, I don't know. Jamie Lee Curtis is having kind of though she was just in the Borderlands movie.
That movie bombed horribly.
I know I didn't see it because first of all, I never played the game, so like I don't really have any interest in it at all. But but I really like that cast was good for Borderlands because it was like Jamie Lee Curtis, Jack Black was like the robot that like poops bullets or something. Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
A lot of really good actors.
Apparently, Kate Blanchett actually bought a PlayStation 5 and started playing the games just so that she could figure out what she was doing with her role.
She should start a Twitch channel. I would watch Kate Blanchett play video games. That'd be the funniest shit ever.
She would probably get harassed horribly, but...
I don't know. She's Australian. She can take it. All right, let's talk about some MCU stuff that happened at D23.
So this is category 2 we've moved on to?
We'll talk about it a little bit, right?
Okay.
So Fantastic Four, First Steps had an exclusive snippet.
I saw the leaked footage.
The illegal version?
Yes, the illegal version.
I think you owe Disney money now. You're just seeing
Probably,
you're contractually owed the money.
It looks kind of cool. Pedro Pascal looks like he fits in there.
Doesn't matter what Pedro Pascal's in. I'll probably watch it. And even Wonder Woman 2 was the only thing I liked about that movie, Pedro Pascal. So first, I have to say, it is asinine for them to be showing, and I get that they're having an event that people paid to get into, and they've got to have stuff exclusive to that thing or whatever.
Yep.
Fuck you, though. That, like, all the fucking peasants at home have to go look for these shitty fucking cell phone...
Yeah.
Which, by the way, those guys are risking their life under pain of death.
Yes.
To get those, because like,
if Disney's legal ninjas know where to find those people, they are dead.
Wait, it's not even legal ninja. I'm pretty sure they have guys walk up and down the alley with like shotguns, like the aisle.
And if they see a cell phone, they just boom.
Yeah. So like, first of all, thank you, Saints,
Yes.
for getting this footage out to us. It does look really good.
It has that sort of. From what I can see, it has sort of
retro
that
as fuck.
retro
Yeah.
60s aesthetic.
Yeah. Apparently, they're the first people to go to the moon. I couldn't tell. The video is very unclear.
Mm-hmm.
It's either they're going to the moon or they're going somewhere else.
Yeah.
The guy who plays Johnny Storm is the guy from Stranger Things.
Okay.
And also is in one scene in Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Is one of the Stark guards that Arya Stark very easily sneaks past to. She's already a faceless man at that point, so like it could have been anyone, but he was also in John and I saw the third sequel to A Quiet Place a couple months ago.
The quietest place?
Yes. It's a quiet place in New York, pretty much.
There is no place in if you're talking New York City, there is no place in New York City that's quiet.
I think that's the whole point. Is it you follow a character on day one of the event in New York City, and it does not go well for the humans.
No, I don't imagine it would.
He shows up, and they're a buddy team throughout the whole movie, and he's so good. And what's really funny about that movie is that the main character is a cancer patient that's like terminally ill and is going to die anyway. So she's just like, fuck it, whatever. And she has this like comfort cat that she carries because she's like, fuck you, I have cancer. I'm bringing my cat into this movie or whatever. And this cat, I spent the entire movie fucking anxious as fuck that this cat was going to get like swiped by a monster or something.
Yeah.
No, and like most chill cat in the world, like get up on top of a car, like people are getting ripped apart, like
Just okay.
right and left, alien invasion. The cat's like, this is boring.
That is cats in
Yeah.
a nutshell. Like
Yeah.
they don't give a fuck.
Like there's like a group of humans like hiding, and it like kicks a rock off the car. Yeah. Anyway, what is that guy's name? I'm gonna look this up real quick because
Yeah, that movie is what 2 or 3 years away. From what I read, that trailer was made up of like test footage and special effects previews and stuff like that.
yeah, I think it is a way off. Joseph Quinn, by the way, is his name. He's a fantastic actor. He is the reason. Also, the woman, I can't remember her name off the top of my head in the movie we were just talking about. You don't expect to go to a scary movie or a movie like that and expect to cry, but like there's a scene that they both have together, barely any dialogue, that you just cry because it's so like touching and sweet and everything. It's beautiful, and he's part of the reason it works so well. He's such a good actor.
Okay.
Um,
Next on the list.
Yeah. Also, there's a shot of Galactus
Oh yeah.
at the end.
I remember that.
Yeah. Everyone in the I
Lost
wish I
their
was
shit.
there.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. He's gonna eat the planet.
Daredevil Born Again.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch because I'm gonna be real honest with you. I'm not like
Married to the Netflix Marvel stuff.
I've seen some of it. None of it really ever grabbed my attention enough to keep watching it.
Because they all had the budget issues where like everything was a hallway fight,
Yeah, everything
right?
was right. Everything like happened the same way, and I get that Vincent D'Onofrio had a really good performance, and Charlie or whatever the fuck his name is that played Daredevil, and that's cool. And I'll watch it when it comes out probably. The Punisher is back. The guy that played the Punisher in the Netflix series is back. He's in one of the clips or something. And then
What else?
Ironheart is happening.
Oh yeah.
Which is weird because I thought maybe they would cancel this.
If there was any MCU thing that they were going to cancel, you would think that would be one of the things on that short list.
So we get introduced to her character in
Wakanda Forever.
right? And I don't think a lot of people cared about her that much.
I thought she was cool.
There's a lot of shit in that movie to keep track of because
There's a lot going on.
then there's like a shark walking around and shit. Like there was a lot in that movie. Yeah. But yeah, well, I mean, I don't think this is one of those things where it's either they shot all of it and they're just waiting to release it, or they've shot none of it. I can't remember.
They have at least some of it done because they show a trailer that is apparently Riri does crimes to fund her armor.
Yeah,
because MIT doesn't want to pay for it anymore.
I get it.
Yeah.
Fuck MIT. The trailer that got me real excited though was Agatha All Along.
Oh yeah.
Because let me tell you, this show is marketed to the gays so fucking hard. Where it's Katie Hahn, Patti LuPone, April Ludgate from fucking Parks and Rec, Joe Locke from Heartstopper fame, and they're all singing songs and shit, and it's like, this is for the gays. like I'm going to enjoy this. I did happen to notice in one of the shots, they seem to do like there's some sequence where they're all wearing the 80s like get up.
Okay.
And they've got like the scrunchy things around their ankles and shit. And I did happen to notice that Joe Locke is wearing Billy Kaplan's colors. He's got like a red headband and like a blue, or like a red. I think he's got like a red something and then like a headband and shit. So like I can't be the only person. No, it's not like, oh, he's got a headband. They are the exact colors.
I get it.
And I'm not sure if I can't be the only person to have noticed this.
No.
So like I'm sure that this was on purpose. There is a shot though, I'm pretty sure Mephisto is going to be in this. And I
after years of pointing at the screen saying Mephisto. Oh, a little rat just scurried across there.
Mephisto. So this whole thing, the whole Mephisto thing started because Eric Voss at New Rockstars had an obsession and was making all those connections. And in his defense, which I would defend him, and I love Eric Voss, it looked like that's where they were going with it, and it very well could have been that they were, but WandaVision had a lot of behind the scenes chopping up and stuff. But there's like a devil guy like in one of the shots, and it's like, I mean, that's like Mephisto is the one devil-looking guy, So, and this is happening soon. It's happening in September, right? I think it's so that it's still running when
Halloween-ish. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna be watching it. It's good. I'm really excited. Patty LaPone. That's how you get me to show for a show. Okay. When did we start this?
When did we start? What?
When did we start filming this? I'm trying to keep track of. It doesn't matter.
25 minutes ago?
Let's talk about Star Wars.
Okay.
The list of things at D22.
Oh, there was a
D23.
Captain America Brave New World trailer.
Was there?
I think so. I think it showed at least a couple new things.
Oh, well, I know there was one at the movie we saw today.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it's Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Which, he wasn't there for any of that. They just scanned his face.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you don't have to do anything.
Also, Giancarlo Esposito, and apparently his character was like not even added until they started doing reshoots.
Yeah, he's a reshoots character.
So...
And you know what? He looks pretty fucking cool in that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He does the thing where like he's reloading his gun with sunglasses.
Very calm. Yeah.
He's very good at that sort of stuff.
I hate to be the guy that says stuff like this, but this movie might be a wreck.
It might very well be.
And yeah, we'll see. I know that
I'm hoping for the best. I'm
Me
going
too.
in with an open mind,
Yeah.
but there's some decks stacked against it.
It does look like it's going to pay off some stuff that happened in Eternals, because they did Eternals and then people didn't really
it's like,
see it.
What the fuck is going on with this? And one of the trailers is Harrison Ford saying, "Yeah, there's this new adamantium shit. We don't know what the fuck is up with it.
Yeah.
But, well, we got it all, and we're gonna study it."
Yeah, they got it from Tiamat, I think, the dead
Celestial
big guy. Yeah. His hand sticking out of the ocean.
Yeah.
It's like, please let me out of this fucking planet.
I would like to go now.
Yes.
Check, please.
Yes. I'm not built to be in this planet. Which, by the way, that one thing would change everything about what we know about how our planet is formed.
Yeah.
And there's no way that there's a molten core in the planet. Like, there's just a dude in there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll see it.
Yeah.
If it's shitty, I'll say it's shitty. If it's if it's not, it's not.
Anyway, Star Wars.
Okay. Let's start off with so Andor season 2.
Okay.
We got some news about it, and then I think Diego Luna did like a little talk and talked about it.
So it's K2SO's in there in
Yes.
season 2, which is very exciting. And Diego Luna said some stuff about how like Andor is going to be an entirely new movie after you see season 2.
I did read that.
Put some stuff in context.
Yes.
And
What surprised me was apparently this is going to be a 12 episode season that takes place over a period of 3 years of Andor's life.
well, we kind of knew going into it.
What
that they
the
were gonna
time
follow-
thing?
The time thing,
Yes,
yeah, and
yeah.
that they were going to kind of slice it up into arcs, sort of like
Yes.
season 1.
Which worked really well for season 1.
Yeah.
The thing is that 12 episodes is a lot. I think the first one was 9 episodes.
I thought it was 12.
Was it?
I think so.
I could be totally wrong about this. And if you're correct, then my fears about this are I'm not. I was afraid that they'd added more episodes
They're trying to fluff it out.
and make the episodes shorter and everything.
I'm pretty sure it was 12.
No, you're right. There's 12. Okay, well that's great then. Because, like I said, I was really afraid that they were like, oh, we're instead of 9 episodes, we're doing 12 episodes, but they're all 25-minute episodes. I was going to literally freak out.
If there's any Star Wars writing and production team that I trust, it's the people doing Andor.
Tony Gilroy knows
Yeah.
the fuck he's doing.
He knows what he's.
I think a lot of people are really happy about Krennic coming back because he's one of those bad guys that you feel bad for him when shit doesn't go his way, but you're at the same time you're like, you're a fucking idiot. You just really are a fucking idiot. I hope you see more of the guy that is played by the actor that played what's his name in Game of Thrones.
The Imperial
SIS guy. Yeah.
him.
I hope he's in it. In fact, that would be a neat dynamic to see him and Krennic, because he's so cold and calculating and logical.
And Krennic's just a buffoon.
Krennic is just looking for attention in all the wrong spots.
It's like, hey, what if we make this giant space station that can blow up a planet? The science guy's like, that's dumb. Why would you do that?
Sounds like it would be a drain on our resources.
Yeah.
I heard there's a blue guy that wants to make our TIE fighter stronger. No, fuck him. big battle station.
Yeah.
What are the odds, the over under of seeing a Palpatine cameo in this season?
I think they
Dog hair.
I don't think they're very good. Because the thing is,
Tony Gilroy doesn't seem to be really into the whole like let's like depend on.
Yeah, he doesn't really seem like he does fan service.
In fact, I think the most fan service we got in Andor season 1 was the post credit.
The lightsabers coming out of the ship. Out of what's his name? Ship.
What the fuck are you talking about?
No, like the what was his name? Luthen's ship. He's trying to escape. His lightsabers come out the side.
Oh, those aren't light. Those are just lasers. No. I mean the post credit scene after the last episode of them building the Death Star.
Oh yeah.
I think that's like the most.
Yeah.
Like that other shit that just happens in Star. This is Star Wars shit. You know that happens. Though I will say, when I rewatched that show, because I've rewatched it more than once, that whole sequence of Luthen escaping from that like cruiser or whatever.
Yeah.
Is, as the kids said 10 years ago, very cash money.
Yeah.
I very much enjoy it.
I just, whenever you're dealing with a more grounded story in Star Wars, anytime you bring in either Vader or Palpatine, it just like all the stakes disappear because like these characters, we know they need to survive.
Right, and they're not going to survive against Vader.
And nothing you put up against them is going to live. So.
It would have to be a Bad Batch kind of a thing where because we know that Mon Mothma's story is going to continue, and we know that I think Bail Organa is probably going to end up showing it. He wasn't in season 1,
I don't
right?
think so, no.
Jimmy Smits.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to see him.
It'd be nice to see him.
Yeah. It would be like here's a Senate meeting, here's Palpatine kind of a thing.
The issue with writing a show that's sort of an intermediary in a long-running series like this is that we know who survives. So if stakes are raised, we have a pretty good idea of who's going to die first.
Yeah. That being said, I would love to see an interaction between Mon Mothma and Palpatine, like where like he knows that there's something going on, and she knows that he knows, and they have like a meeting.
They could even like. This is right off the cuff. It's probably very sophomoric to the actual writers, but sort of showing that Palpatine is deliberately provoking this rebellion as a means of like shoring up his support.
Yeah, or fight or some other political thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that's a stupid idea. Keep thinking of ideas like that. See, I'm telling you, man, we keep doing this shit. They're going to pick us as writers for a Star Wars show. K2SO is back. Yep. Yeah, baby.
Very exciting.
That was so we talked.
That was the one thing that we wanted in season 1 that didn't happen.
Before I saw Andor, the first thing I said when they announced it was like, why the fuck do I care about this? And then they're like, oh, K2SO is not in. And I'm like,
why the fuck do I care about
well,
this?
Okay, I guess I won't watch it then.
Yeah.
And Alan Tudyk is coming back as K2SO.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Mandalorian Grogu.
Yep.
Some teaser footage we watched right before. Most of it is just shots from previous seasons.
But there is some neat footage of Mando and Grogu like riding a walker.
An ATRT from the Clone Wars era thing. And they're like, they crash into some AT-ATs or something.
Yeah.
Or like there's a little fight there. Zeb. Who made a cameo at the end of season 3 is going to be hanging out, I guess, and also the Razor Crest is back.
Yeah, that's nice.
Which I guess it's the Razor Crest 2, because if I remember correctly,
Razor Crest again with a vengeance.
The first one, I don't think was coming back ever.
No.
It got pretty well atomized.
Got pretty wrecked.
Yeah. So maybe he found another one.
Maybe.
So if I'm not mistaken, the Razor Crest is the class of ship that it is. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Did we talk about the big thing, the thing that I'm really excited about, which was
Crew?
the Skeleton Crew trailer. So this comes out, it's like December or something, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. We got our first full-length trailer for Skeleton Crew. And you know what? It, first of all, looks way different than I expected it to.
There's shots of Star Wars suburbia.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this this looks kind of weird.
Yeah, and I know some people were put off by it,
Yeah.
but it's like, first of all, you need to expand your idea of what Star Wars can be, because, like,
This is an entire fucking galaxy with trillions of intelligent life forms. Of course, there's going to be fucking suburbs.
yeah, it's Elk Grove, Illinois is going to be somewhere in Star Wars. Yeah, I got over that pretty quick. I was like, whatever. In fact, I just like, I was like, oh, what, the look of this is like not what I expected.
Yeah.
This does look like the Goonies / Stranger Things meets Star Wars.
That is what they were going for my understanding.
And let me tell you, I fucking love the Goonies. So if they make it anything like that, I'll probably be all right with it. It's kind of your typical kids are looking for something bigger. You know, they're kind of being marshaled toward what they're going to be doing for the rest of their lives, and they're having and
they're like, shit, I want to see what's over that hill.
Yeah.
And then they get over that hill, and it turns out they wash downstream somewhere else, and like, shit, I want to go home.
Yeah.
And the rest of the show is them trying to get home.
Yeah, they find apparently an old hidden Jedi temple, and then an old ship.
Yeah.
And they turn the ship on, and it's like, fuck you, I'm going to hyperspace, and just goes off, right?
And then I guess they run into Jude Law, and he's like, sure, I'll take you kids home.
Yeah, which kids don't trust adults like that. No. I do like the shot of him getting the keys. So I think we already knew this from...
He uses the Force in some capacity.
Yeah, and I think we know from what they've said that he was a Jedi that survived Order 66.
Which there are a lot of Jedi that, like...
Yeah.
At this point, I think we have seen on screen more Jedi survive Order 66 than die to it.
Yeah. Also consider the fact that there are 10,000 Jedi when Order 66 happened, and we've only seen 20, maybe 15 or 20, including the comics. So when you actually consider how much of the actual population that survived, it's still a very, very small number. Like, it's a minuscule number.
It's just that we haven't seen a ton die.
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't know. They had that thing in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, yeah.
We saw a bunch of those guys die.
True.
And then Mando season 3, we saw some Jedi die, and then we saw Jar Jar Binks go ape shit on everyone with lightsabers. That was pretty neat. But you're right. I think this is maybe like...
All I'm saying is, give me a movie like Rogue One, except the end is Order 66, and all the Jedi die.
Yeah. I don't think they ever meant for all the Jedi to die anyway. I don't think they did a very good job of saying, like, okay, all the Jedi that were with clone troopers died. Like, there are going to be some scragglers and stuff.
Well, the problem is that by the time of A New Hope, the Jedi are basically legends. And urban.
And the ones that are still alive by then are well hidden.
Yeah.
And, or close to dying because they're so old. So it's the thing is, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Jude Law's character, he looks to be about what, 40s?
Yeah. So I guess he might be a surviving Padawan. Because this is around the same time frame as Mando.
Yeah,
right?
it's after Return of the Jedi, which is about 30-something years after, like mid 30 years.
Yeah, so he might be like the same generation as Cal Kestis, maybe.
You'd have to be. In fact, maybe even a little younger. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Jar Jar Binks saved him too. That's the deleted scene from Mando season 3 we didn't see. Is it like Kelleran Beck has Grogu under one arm and like some random other kid under the other, and he's like, "Oh, this is the kid from Skeleton Crew."
Steering bike with his knees.
Right, yeah. All in all, it's a typical trailer. Not a
looks
ton.
cool. I think there's potential here.
It exists to give us a feel for like the thing, and for what the thing seems to be. I'm on board for it. It doesn't necessarily mean that it'll be. I'm not even really sure if this is for older audiences even. I think that it must be in some capacity. I think it might be in the same vein that like Stranger Things is.
So I feel like all Star Wars exists in this realm where it may not be explicitly made and marketed to older nerds, but Disney knows that older nerds are going to be a significant portion of the audience that watches it. so they make it with that in mind.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, we're obviously gonna watch it,
Yeah.
so like, you know. All right, so let me.
Is that really everything?
I think so.
Scroll through real quick.
I don't think there's any more Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, I think that was it.
I mean, the big thing was Skeleton Crew, I think. That and fucking Star Wars Outlaws soon.
Yeah.
I swear to God, Chris, I better not be disappointed by this game.
Man, it looks pretty good.
The thing that worries me is that I looked at the estimated playtime of like the main story, and then like the estimated playtime of like if you want to do all the achievements and do all the missions and shit. And it seems comparable to like Hogwarts Legacy, which I had a problem with being too small a game. And that is not an automatic indication of quality.
Yeah.
And they seem to want to lampshade that a little bit in their interviews, where they're like, hey, we wanted to focus on quantity or quality over quantity. But they said the same thing for Hogwarts Legacy. And it just feels like an excuse to be like, oh, we didn't do this huge fucking open world. And I on the other hand, I can't imagine it's the same, because one of the reasons that Hogwarts Legacy, I was just like, what? Like, it was a neat idea. The execution was interesting. All the mechanics are there and stuff. There was nothing like industry changing about it or anything. There were like no new mechanics or anything. And it does what every open world does, where you've got side quests everywhere, and you got to go collect. There are like 5 different kinds of currencies and shit. But the location is Hogwarts, Hogsmeade, and the Forbidden Forest, and like a couple of like little hamlets that are really close to Hogwarts.
So it's a little bit limited.
Apparently, Star Wars Outlaws is like 5 different planets, and like obviously not like full, like you can traverse the entire planet or anything.
But areas on these planets.
So I don't know. I gotta play it.
We'll find out.
All right. So just a while ago, we got back from seeing the newest offering in the Alienverse called Alien Romulus, and we're going to start off with some spoiler-free thoughts. And I'm interested to know, because you've not seen any of the other films, which first of all I find offensive, but also I feel like also kind of gives you like none of the nostalgia bait worked on you. You were like impervious to it because you didn't know about it.
There was one line that you and John were freaking out and laughing about, and I was just like, "This is so fucking."
It was. We were laughing.
Yes.
Like that was a. Oh man! Did you have to say that?
Yeah.
They just could not help themselves.
No. So I guess to start as spoiler free as possible, this is an incredibly competently made film that was not made with me in mind.
Yeah.
It's like the set and the props are fantastic.
It's pretty to look at.
Yeah, they have a great aesthetic that they stick to very rigorously, and everything fits within that and looks cohesive, and it looks like a maybe not realistic according to present day tech development, because everything is like analog, has these big blocky keyboards,
big switches. Yeah.
Like
it's say VCR underneath.
Yeah,
it.
They're very clearly building based off technology that was available in like the late 70s,
when
early
the movies
80s.
came out. The early movies came out. Yeah.
But it's cohesive and it looks good and has a similar sort of aesthetic to like Star Wars, which is stuck in that same sort of technology carried forward mindset.
Big CRT monitors. Yeah.
It's very well acted. I don't think there's anyone in the cast that I thought didn't do a great job.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of them are red shirts. Most of them are red shirts.
Which is kind of...
It's an aliens thing.
It's the genre.
Yeah.
You expect people are going to die.
You don't. You know not to get too attached to anyone. You're not necessarily a person that is really into seeing aliens burst out of people's chests.
No, it's incredibly gross, and I could have gone a lot longer without seeing it.
There were some pretty grisly...
Yeah.
Also, why do so many of the alien things look like vaginas? You know the one part I'm talking. One part I'm talking about.
Yes, I blame H.R. Giger.
Yeah,
Because like his name is one of the first that pops up in the credits, like visuals inspired by H.R. Giger.
Yeah, it's like all the organic stuff that like the aliens like building or whatever. It's like, oh, that looks like a vagina.
Well, I mean, why do the aliens have gigantic fucking penises that they jam down your throat?
Yeah, little penis mouths. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's all very gross.
Yeah, it's very disturbing, and it's made to be that way.
I enjoyed that I think I enjoy seeing stuff like that because we were talking about this a little bit before. I like trying to figure out how they make stuff like that. Like when they do like an on-screen effect that isn't CG. It's less interesting for me when we're watching something like The Boys where it's mostly just CG and it just doesn't look real in the first place and you kind of laugh at it, which I think is like the point of it. Like I don't think anyone in charge of The Boys, like I don't think they're trying to get everyone to believe that literally this, the thing happened on screen.
He literally just had his chest punched through. Right. Yeah.
So when they try to do, it looks like they try to do as much practical stuff as they could.
There's a lot of practical effects in here.
Yeah, and it's kind of neat for me to figure out, like, that's like I bet that's like the consistency of the blood, or like the fact that there's this really one neat. It probably grossed you out, but like when the alien comes out of one of the chests, there's anatomy there, like a thing slid off his head. It looked like an uncircumcised penis. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of genitalia in this movie if you know where to look, and none of it human, which is actually very disturbing. So we've moved away. I don't think any of the spaceships were like models, but they were great CG models. Yeah. And like
there's really only one scene that I can think of where like I was like, yep, that is definitely CG. And
was it?
I'll tell you.
Yeah, is it probably in the spoilers? A lot of what happens around a planet with this really beautiful ring around it. Mm-hmm. And there are lots of that's the other thing, they do geography really well, where they like you'll have characters like press a button and something happened on the ship, and then it'll like pull out and you see them through the window, and then you see the thing that they triggered. There's a spider right here. Huh. No.
Hello, ma'am.
Go over here, please. Oh, or just crawl onto my hand. That's fine too.
I think in general, the writing and consistency of everything is really good. Like there are no loose plot threads. Yep. There's no red herrings. Like everything they set up pays off later.
Well, it's a kind of a small story to begin with, so like you can control it easier. So what I was saying, like they do something on the ship, you get an outside view, you can still see the characters, and then like something changes on the outside of the ship, and you kind of know, you get a sense for where they are on the ship at all times. Like the station where the story happens is two halves, separated by or like joined by these passageways or whatever, and like they show you that before they say, oh well, we have to find a way into the other side, and they're crawling through like so that's the thing that movies like this can do badly sometimes, is not like give the audience a clear sense of geography on where things are happening and how everything kind of connects. And then I thought, well acted, the music was fine. The main character's motivations are believable. Yeah. And this isn't the kind of story that has there are huge stakes for the character, but not necessarily in the moment huge stakes for like the whole universe or whatever. So like
there are implications that what they're doing could have broader.
A lot more people can die. Which I assume I imagine they're gonna make, because this movie's doing well. So I imagine they're gonna find a way to make another one. Well, let's talk about. Well, before we get into spoilers, what metric are we measuring this one on? Little penis mouths.
Okay.
Out of 4 little penis mouths, what do you give it? I give it a 3.
I'm trying to be objective here, but like the stuff that just icked me out, I have to say like a 2 in terms of how much I enjoyed it.
I liked it. I give it a 3, like a solid 3. Some of the nostalgia worked on me though, because like I remember seeing those movies, which by the way, my dad should not have let me watch those movies when I was a kid. That was a bad idea. But like they're
What are you talking about? They
yeah.
formed you into the man you are today.
Yeah. So let's talk spoilers.
So I think just in broad terms, I was more interested in almost every scene where there was not an alien on screen. Because they go into
like the relationship between the main character and her like brother or whatever.
Yeah, they go into some really interesting, larger philosophical ideas. Like one of the very first scenes we see the main character, she goes down to the employment office, says, "Hey, I've hit my quota. Can I get the fuck out of here?" And the woman at the desk says, "No, actually, your quota is twice as big as it used to be, and I get the fuck back to work."
Yeah, you are a commodity for this company. You can leave when we say you leave. And you're never leaving.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Weyland-Yutani, it's Amazon.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like if Amazon was still around in a couple hundred years and we were colonizing space.
Stereotypical
corporation.
cyberpunk megacorp.
Right, which is like a part of the original film as a part of the commentary.
Yeah.
Where these big corporations. In fact, I seem to remember in a deleted scene in one of the films, there's a line about Walmart trying to buy the Weyland-Yutani Corporation or something.
Yeah.
So like they definitely had they had an agenda that they wanted people to know about, which is it's a lot of movies. Like a lot of the movies that came out of that time had like RoboCop.
Yeah.
That like corporate anti-corporate.
It was the big cyberpunk / genre punk movement of the time.
Fuck the man, pretty much. Yeah.
The other really big philosophical theme that I was interested in is like Andy, the android.
Andy the android?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like at one point they're like, "Hey, we need you to open a door. Let's just grab this disc out of another android's brain, slam it in your brain." And all of a sudden he's a very different person with very different imperatives.
Yeah.
And that raises some...
He's a lot more confident.
Yeah. A lot of deep moral and ethical questions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a person. Like, everyone around is saying, he's not a real person, but he's a fucking real person.
He feels emotions. He clearly feels emotions. Yeah.
And you can just change the way his brain works just by slapping a new disc into his head.
Without his agency
without
being
his consent
consulted.
yeah.
Right.
Which raises some really big ethical questions about how androids are treated in this universe.
I like the guy that played
he did a fantastic.
I thought
he's probably the best actor in the whole movie.
Yeah,
or gave the best performance.
Yes, I definitely I was very interested in him. So the main character, Rain Carradine, no relation to David Carradine, I assume, the real life Kung Fu, the legend continues actor that hung himself trying to auto asphyxiate and died in a hotel.
I forgot about that.
Kill Bill too. He's Bill from Kill Bill. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Apparently, if there was a relationship there, or like a familial relationship, it would be very
reference.
strange. Yeah. It's like, hey, this is David Carradine. Do you remember?
David Carradine's great
yeah
granddaughter or whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, so she was the worker. She's on some other planet. It doesn't matter what planet.
It's never day.
Yeah.
There's like 3,000 people there, and there's fewer every day because they all get lung cancer in the mines or whatever.
And they have like new novel diseases that pop up because they're on an alien planet.
Yeah.
You know, shit there that they've never heard of. And she's looking for a way out.
Yeah.
It's kind of your basic. I'm not happy with my life. I want to go out into the universe. Yeah. You know, and she finds her way out. Which is...
Well, her friends call her and say, "Hey, we got this plan, but we need your robot buddy."
His finger, really. Yeah.
So she's like, this sounds really fucking risky, but I guess we'll go for it.
She didn't have really much of a choice anyway. Yeah.
So they all schlep up to this space station, and they're like, "Okay, Andy."
Defunct, which was decommissioned, and is set to crash into the planet's rings
in 36 hours.
Right. So like automatically there's a sense of urgency. We're like, oh, you got to get this done.
But they're like, 36 hours, that's plenty.
Yeah.
We'll
and
be in and out 30 minutes.
Yeah, the second that guy's like, oh, it'd be 30 minutes. You're
Let's go in and out, 30-minute adventure.
You're gonna die.
Yeah.
You're gonna probably
so many people are gonna die.
Yep.
So they get in there and like they use his magic finger to unlock things, and like they find the MacGuffin they need, but then it turns out there isn't enough fuel for it or whatever.
Yeah, it's a cryostasis pod
because it's 9 years to the planet they want to get to.
Right, and I assume if they don't do cryosleep. They have to play like solitaire the whole
They
time.
need a lot
or
of food.
Right.
Is the problem.
They probably get pretty bored, I bet,
Yeah.
too. So, yeah.
There would be so many babies on that ship when they arrived.
Human or alien babies.
Por qué no los dos?
Yeah. So we get the first creepy moment. So they find the pods, but it's out of its like
It's out of the
fuel.
juice.
Yeah. So
they say, hey,
juice is in
there's
another
some
room.
juice down the hall.
Yeah.
Let's go down there.
And they can get into the room. By the way, the main character is on the ship because she's like, I don't want to deal with this bullshit.
The first creepy moment is they find this giant hole that just goes down through multiple decks.
Right.
And there's a vivisected robot, like half his body.
Yeah.
And they're like, huh, that's weird.
We don't see his face at first, and this is it's relevant because later on we see it, and it turns out that it's Rook from the first fucking Alien movie. It isn't an android with his face; it's literally that character.
Yeah.
And they do some like face replacement
because that actor's actually
shit.
dead.
Yeah, I assume hopefully with the family's permission.
I really hope so.
It looked crunchy.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Yeah.
He is responsible for all the shit that goes wrong in the first movie because he finds the face hugger and is like,
oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, and like kind of manipulates the situation so that someone gets impregnated with it and everything. But they get locked in a room with a bunch of face huggers that because the temperature in the room went up that they're like, oh, it's time to come out.
Well, the cryo juice they were using to keep the face huggers cold was the cryo juice that they needed to get the ship going. And
so they crawl out, and there are a lot of fake outs because like what these things do.
Yeah. And
there are several times where it jumps at a person and you're like, oh god,
this is the time.
Which, by the way, facehuggers care very little about consent. That's not a thing they do.
Yeah.
They all get away though. One of them like has the little thing that's like almost in his mouth and shit. Oh, those things like are pretty gross. And then one of the characters they get out and they get chased, and then
one of them gets hugged.
Yeah, one of them gets face hugged. And they don't realize what's happening, but they know that she's still alive.
But by this point, they've taken the disc out of Rook's head and put it into Andy's head. So Andy's like, okay, I need to be kind of rational about this.
Yeah.
And Rook is like, look, you and I both know that she's fucking dead.
Yeah.
Like, you need to convince them just fucking kill her, like, shove her out the airlock and get back on the ship and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Oh, there's also, speaking of the disc thing, there's this like running thing. But so the android's main directive before they get up there is to like do whatever's best for the main character. And when they put the disc in his head, it
changes to do what's best for the company,
which is such an Amazon fucking thing, by the way.
If Jeff Bezos had androids, that's what he would program.
There would be a little disc. So he goes from that to I need to.
Yeah, like all the rest of you can go, but like she needs to either stay here or die.
Yeah, because
otherwise you're all fucking dead. And they're like, "Fuck you, robot!" And they get her back on the ship, and he's like, "Well, shit."
Yeah, because he tries to stop him. I thought it was a really neat visual thing they did. They set up this. They find a device that gives you like an X-ray, and like a real time X-ray.
They
thing.
set that up, and it pays off 10 minutes later.
Yeah. So their idea is like, okay, so we get this face hugger off. We're gonna because we can't just jerk it off because then it sounded wrong.
Breaks her neck.
Yeah. They can't just pull it off because it'll right.
Yeah. So like they freeze the tail to get it off, and then they start pulling it off, and like. When they pull it out, this thing's penis is like 3 feet long.
Yeah,
it's really fucking gross.
Yes, which good for you, man. But
yeah,
if you've seen the movies before, you know what's already happened.
Yeah.
And so she gets back to the ship, and
like she is starting to pull the ship out, and then she starts giving birth out of her chest.
Which she uses the X-ray thing.
Yeah. So like, oh god.
And it was kind of. like you can see the ribs breaking and
Yeah.
shit. Like it was pretty visceral, but it was also a really cool shot though. Like it was really it was very
It's extremely well done,
yeah.
and I never want to see it
yeah.
again.
You seeing it once is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this chest burster causes the ship to crash.
Well, she like in her death throes, like jerks and kicks a control, and ship crashes.
Hits the
into
gas
it.
pedal. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they like thankfully crash in a docking bay, which
Yeah.
is like, wow, you got really lucky there.
So like they sideswipe a fuel tank, which
And I was like, oh god, oh no.
so the station is now like collapsing into the ring. They have like 40 minutes or something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Something happens and it. Yeah.
But they get in the docking bay. So now you've got the people on the station with Andy who are like, okay, we need to get back to the ship, and the people on the ship who have this new alien infestation going on,
Including a pregnant woman.
Yes.
Who is, I think, the sister of the love interest
Mm-hmm.
that wants to hook up with the main character.
Who knows?
I kind of got that vibe.
Maybe a little bit.
So Rook really wants Andy to get some fluid.
It's like, look, you gotta go to the other station. They got this really good shit. It'll get the humans so fucking high
Yeah.
that they'll thank you forever.
Yeah. Also, bad things will happen to them, but keep that between
Also,
us.
might turn them into xenomorph hybrids, but
Weird things.
don't
yeah.
worry about it.
So a lot of it is your typical thriller, like, oh, what's there? Oh, it's nothing.
They have this set piece where like they make the hallway this like body temperature so that the face huggers can't
Right.
see them.
Which was kind of, that was
It's
a cool
clever,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. So the alien that bursts out of the chest matures into a xenomorph.
Mm-hmm.
There's this really gross part where before the xenomorph is born,
There's like the big egg on the wall.
The
with
vagina. It's
the
a vagina, yeah.
and like one character.
the
Like,
one annoying character.
he
Yeah.
gets his electric like cattle prod and tries to jam it up the vagina, and of course the acid melts the cattle
Yeah.
prod.
And then it like stabs him in the head, and
Yeah.
and then it melts him. And
Yeah.
it's
he
really
he
gross.
doesn't have a good time.
Yeah. But he is really annoying. So
Yeah.
it was like,
He's also the most android racist.
yeah.
So
yeah, something happened to his parents
Yeah,
because
fuck
of an android. Yeah.
So fuck him.
Yeah. So people start dying,
Mm-hmm.
and we're pretty much left with. So there's the three of them left, right? There's Andy, Rain, and her love interest, and then
Yep.
he dies.
So they get across to the other side,
Mm-hmm.
and they find the magic juice that turns you into a xenomorph hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, okay, we might need to shoot our way out of here. So like, here's some guns.
Oh, the 0G thing with the alien blood. That was
yeah.
a neat. That was a neat
That
thing.
like was. It's a really cool set piece. The blood I could tell was really CG.
Yeah.
But
I was okay with that. It was just a liquid.
yeah, I
sim.
mean,
It looked real
there's
enough.
no way to do that shot with current
Yeah.
technology.
And I think the tension from that scene that I really liked is the fact that they are in this situation because she turns the gravity off
Mm-hmm.
and starts shooting a bunch of aliens, and there are these floating pools of acid,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're like, oh shit, the gravity's going to come on at some point, and
Yeah.
they're like trying to like float through it
Like
and shit.
this is what I'm talking about. How they set
coffee.
everything out. They set everything up, and there's no extraneous dialogue.
Yeah.
So like they say, when the gravity's off, every 15 minutes or whatever, the gravity comes back on, and
They said it once at the beginning.
Yep.
And they like it's nice that like through things like this they don't have to hold your hand.
Yeah.
Where like I guess in a weaker movie the character would be like, oh my gosh, when the gravity comes on, this blood's gonna come down and rain on us,
Yeah.
and we're gonna die.
And like there's another part where like Andy's handing out the guns. He's like, now remember, they have acidic blood, and we're at the bottom of the station. So if you shoot something, we are immediately gonna have a hull breach.
Yes.
Like so they set that up really
Yeah.
well.
And
Yeah,
that's
she shoots a bunch of things, and it ends up causing a hull breach.
yep. So
So like they end up getting back onto the ship. The main girl, pregnant,
little ship, the
pregnant
smaller
woman,
ship,
yes,
yeah.
and Andy, and
there was this one. So Andy has to make a decision where there's a sealed bulkhead door. On the other side is a pregnant woman. The xenomorph is in the room with her, but he's waiting for them to open the door so he can get out.
yeah.
And Andy's the only one that can open the door. And
And he's like, I'm not opening that door.
yeah, and he doesn't do it. And
They're like, what the fuck, Andy?
Yeah.
He's like, well, if I open the door, you'd all be dead.
Yeah, and so she gets skewered. And
dragged off.
Yeah, and they find her later. She like
They're like, okay,
it's the thing the aliens do. They I don't know, put sticky shit on them and hang them on the wall and let chest bursters come out of them. Yeah.
So like, okay, we could jam her with this juice that turns you into a xenomorph hybrid, but let's just hold off on that for a second.
I like how Rain's like, that's a bad idea.
It's a really bad idea. But later on, Rain is like, okay, look, you take the elevator up there. Here's the MacGuffin that you need to make the ship work. I'm going to go back with my gun and shoot some things.
Yeah, and save Andy because he's,
Definitely do not inject yourself with the juice that turns you into a xenomorph.
Yeah, the second she's not in the room, she's like,
I'm
going to
inject myself with the juice that turns me into a xenomorph.
You're not my mom. I'll do whatever the fuck I want.
So they get back to the ship. Like, pregnant woman gets stuffed into a cryotube.
Yep.
Rain sets the autopilot. She's like, okay, everything's good. Wait a minute. That tube says she's dying.
Yeah.
She opens it up, and pregnant woman immediately gives birth.
In a gross, visceral, like you see it come out and everything.
Again, very well done.
Yeah.
I do not need to see it again.
Yeah. What comes out is you can't really tell what it is. It's like a pod thing.
Yeah. She's like, get rid
Which
of it.
I like how she scoops it up and like throws it somewhere. She's like, fuck this.
She's trying to carry it to the airlock, I think, but then it starts spilling acid everywhere, so she like drops it.
Yeah.
And like the acid just starts melting through the ship, and she's like, well, shit, I need to go down and get it. And she just finds the empty pod. And by the time she gets back up, there's this gigantic
alien
thing that's like, it kills formerly pregnant woman. It slashes up Andy, and like she ends up having to like eject the cargo pod, so the alien goes flying off into the ring and explodes or whatever.
Which, by the way, Rain, probably a better person than me, because I would have opened that cryopod, been like, and just press the button again.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Put it right back in there. Yeah. The baby can go into cryo sleep too. Yeah. There was a one part before they escape where Andy does the get away from her, you bitch line from Aliens. Now, they should not have put it in. It was cringy.
They should not.
This is one of those lines where Sigourney Weaver famously at the end of Aliens says that while she's in a fucking like loader suit and shit. And like it works because it was in the 80s, and that's the kind of shit that you did in the 80s is like have a one-liner for that, like right toward the end. This like don't say that.
You didn't have to do that.
I wonder if Sigourney Weaver got like royalties for that.
Like that line made the whole movie worse.
It did. Like. Yeah, I would have left it out. They could have just stopped it. Get away from her. Yeah, I think the rest of us would have been like,
you can fill it in.
Yeah.
You know what the rest of it is.
Yeah, I will tell you exactly if they had said that. If he would have been like, get away from her, John and I would have looked at each other and said, you bitch.
Yeah. That would have
been better. Yeah. So this whole thing ends in a weird alien human hybrid that looks a lot to me like the engineers from the Prometheus prequels.
I haven't seen those. What it reminded me of was Fade Routha from the most recent Dune movies.
Oh yeah. Which I guess he kind of looks like the engineers from Prometheus, so that makes sense. Yeah. But she's able to kill it right as they're crashing into the rings.
And then she and Andy go into cryosleep, and they arrive at their new planet in 9 years, I guess.
Yeah, probably not. That's never how this shit. This is exactly how Aliens ended. They beat the alien. The survivors, which is Sigourney Weaver, a little girl named Newt, and the one surviving Marine, all go into cryosleep. In the next movie, they kill the little girl and the Marine off screen. And fans revolted, right? And they just show it on a screen where like they
died on the way to their home planet.
Right. It's like Newt, deceased. And you're like, what the fuck, man?
So yeah, like very competently made movie. If you like this genre and if you like this franchise, I think you'll like it.
Tell us if you've seen it. Let us know in the comments what you thought. We'd be interested in knowing. But
is that everything?
I think that's it for today.
I think we should get the hell out of here.
I will be back at 7 tonight here in a couple of hours for some Battlefronts, so you can check us out there. And it'll be a fun time. We'd love to have you. We can talk more about Alien or Star Wars or
D23,
whatever the fuck you want.
Really anything you want.